Hello, everyone. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. Winter weather is exiting with the blizzard warnings and winter weather advisories all being dropped, but we have a lot to talk about. The cold takes hold. The wind is still here all night. Road conditions will be tricky. And also, we're going to talk a little bit about what a bomb cyclone is, what's going on there, and we're looking ahead at your travel forecast. All that's coming up right now on Hutch's Weather.
Now, a Hutch's Weather Update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
Real quickly, I'd be remiss if I didn't let you know about this special deal from my friends at Robert Gibb & Sons. You can get your furnace cleaned and checked for $129, a 25-point inspection. Call Robert Gibb & Sons today. Please let them know Hutch sent you. And now let's take a look at our forecast and what's going on across the air. We're going to get started right away with a look at this hour-by-hour forecast. We're going to talk about the current conditions, and we're going to look at snowfall amounts. We're going to look at those wind gusts today. Everything was pretty wild. But first, let's start out with a look at our forecast now as we head into the overnight hours. The isobars still very close together here across greater Minnesota. There's Brainerd, and that's where the winds will be strongest. See how far apart the isobars out here to the west? That's going to allow for, well, clear skies and just some nasty cold weather out there in the oil patch through central parts of North Dakota, where the Botno Hills did get some significant snow. We had significant snow in the valley, and the wind was just terrible throughout the day. So as we go through the entire overnight, still gusts to around 40 miles per hour will be likely, and the strongest of the winds will exit to the east into central Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Duluth, as the system's low pressure center exits our area. Now, as we take a look, the little digits that you see here, those are a look at the wind gusts, so you can keep track of that. Here's 9 a.m. in the morning, and some of these numbers are very, very small, but I can tell you that we have 30-plus mile per hour gusts continuing across Lakes Country from Bemidji right into Brainerd, and then right here, Fargo, right down into the Morris-Benson area. We still have breezy conditions, but the isobars getting farther apart. Now, what are these colors? That's temperatures. I'll show you what they look like as we go into the mid-morning hours. We're talking about air temperatures around 5 degrees and wind chills that'll be around 15 to 20 degrees below at times here off in parts of northeast Montana near Plentywood, as well as Williston, Oil Patch, Bismarck, Mandan as well. Now, as we set this into motion for the afternoon, we do not get too warm here in the valley. Temperatures holding back. Wind speeds and gusts only around 20 miles per hour as we close out the day, though, heading into the afternoon. So a few renegade gusts here and there, but generally, when we get into the afternoon, the wind speed should start tapering off. We will start to see a decrease in clouds, but most of the day from the valley and points east will be cloudy. Look at the isobars here. By tomorrow night, we'll see them start to relax a little bit. But look at the cold core of air moving into the valley. So as we go into Friday morning, Saturday morning, I think those will be two of the coldest days here in the valley, particularly in areas that did get some fresh and dainty snowfall. Now let's take one quick peek here. I want to announce one thing, and that's my friends at Luther Family Ford. Well, that's right. We have Hutch's Weather Kid tomorrow night, and I'm excited to announce tomorrow night's Weather Kid, Aubrey Larson. I want you to tune in, 4:30, right here on Facebook. You can check it out also on hutchesweather.com, no matter where you are. Aubrey Larson from Westside Elementary. Hey, if you happen to go there, tell your friends, watch Aubrey, and let's cheer her on, helping Hutch figure out this wild weather. Thank you so much. You can sign up at Luther Family Ford or on hutchesweather.com anytime, anywhere. All right, now let's take a look at wind speeds. And the gusts were just redonky-donk across the area today. Nearly 60 miles per hour in Kidder County, and I'm not kidding. Bismarck, Mandan, Morton County, all the way out to the edge out there near Glen Olin, 54 mile per hour gusts. Here in the valley, peak gusts measured by the North Dakota Agricultural Weather Network around 35 to 45 miles per hour. Lakes Country, as we get down into Otter Tail County, 25 to 35 mile per hour wind gusts there as well. So it definitely was a gusty proposition across the area for today. Well, we'll get to the forecast here in just a second, but let's talk about morning temperatures first. Single digit readings above and below zero up in northwest parts of North Dakota. Lower wind speeds there. Northwest winds still a little on the gusty side in the Red River Valley, near 40 miles per hour at times in the morning. That's going to make that 20 degrees feel mighty ridiculous as we go through the day. Central Minnesota, because more clouds will be located across western and central Minnesota, the temperatures won't get quite as cold. We'll be steady Eddie in the 20s for many locations here as we head into your morning. 21 Grand Forks, 23 Fargo. That's at 7 in the morning. And if you happen to be looking for Bemidji and Warroad, 32 degrees there, 22 up in Kitson County, and 23 for Thief River Falls. Here's a look at your afternoon forecast for your Thursday. Now, the wind speeds will be decreasing greatly in central North Dakota, and even here in the valley, a few gusts to around 20 or 25 miles per hour, and that's it at the 4 o'clock hour. Look at the temperatures. Not much movement at all. Steady to, well, maybe even slowly falling in a couple of locations out to the east. But by and large, if you are looking in Minnesota, 30 for Bemidji, 28 out here in Park Rapids, 26 degrees in Fergus Falls. Look at this. Jamestown, Bismarck, and up towards Minot, only 20s and teens for peak temperatures up in the oil patch. Now, up near Bottineau and Belcourt, we're going to see temperatures there that only peak in the mid-teens at best because there was some significant snow there. Speaking of significant snow, let's take a look at the measurements that you reported from around the area here and the National Weather Service, but it's a new tool as well on hutchesweather.com. So we're going to sneak over to that right now as we take a look at hutchesweather.com. I've added a tool on here so you can look at the snowfall totals, and thanks to my friend Joe. But here's a look at the page, and there's a menu up here that you can see. And if you go to the latest snow updates here on this page, what you're going to notice is it takes you to this fancy looking, neat little map. Now, this map is one that you've seen me use here. The colors of the dots represent here how much snow is fallen in different areas. But as we scroll down, on this page, what you're going to notice here in the valley, down in the Fargo-Moorhead area, we had most reports between 2 and 4 inches of snow, 2 to 4 inches here. I did not see any reports coming in with the up to 7 that we were talking about, and maybe a couple of plus signs, but there's still reports that should be coming in. The other hard part is the wind blew all day. It's just really difficult to measure. Regardless, as we take a look at a few of these reports on here, and you can peruse through this right now by logging on to hutchesweather.com and clicking on this snow reports tab. It looks like 3 inches or more out here, 3.1 inches north of Buffalo River State Park out there. And as we take a look to the north and to the west, that's where the big winners were up here near Bottineau. Now, as we look, it looks like Walhalla in that area has seen, I saw a yellow dot here up in the Walhalla area. Let me see if I can pull that back up. Right on the border there, 6 inches was reported there. We do have a report as well in the Devil's Lake Basin of about 2 inches of snow, but the wind just ridiculous. Reports up there from the Stark weather area as well of very icy conditions. 4 inches on Highway 52 as you head up to Minot, some 6.5 inch reports. And look at this, in the Bottineau Hills here, 6 to 10 inches of snow. 6 to 10 inches of snow is what we saw there. So when you take a look at the end of this picture, things here, you know what? They could have been worse, but the travel was terrible out there. A lot of crashes, a lot of mountain snow in Wyoming. Look at what's going on in Seattle as a bomb cyclone is hitting out there in the Pacific Northwest. These snowfall totals here are ridiculous as well. And this is just from round 1. The forecast out there looks to be a little suspect. I'll show you why, because now what we're going to do, take a look at the 7-day forecast and get you up to speed with what's going on as we head toward the holiday. All right, here's a look at your 7-day planner, and this is what you need to know. Number 1, it looks cold. Morning temperatures in Fargo as we start your day tomorrow will still be near 20, as we just showed you, 28 for a high. Not a big range in temperatures. We will drop down to near 10 degrees on Friday morning. I think Saturday morning could be our coldest here and in parts of central Minnesota as well that have fresh snow on the ground. Single digits here. If you are in an area with, say, more than 3 to 4 inches of snow on the ground, and that's not a lot of us, but there are some, temperatures as we go into Friday morning, particularly out west, Devil's Lake Basin, Walhalla, up there in that Langdon area, I anticipate temperatures there could indeed challenge that 0 degree mark. Okay, temperatures staying near 30 degrees. Next chance of snow, Saturday into Sunday. This could be measurable snow right now. It does not look like heavy prolonged snow, but periods of snow that at times could accumulate. Now let's take a look at the forecast for your Tuesday and Wednesday as we get into the travel days. Here, not so bad, just cold, but there's a chance for some snow as we go into Thanksgiving and travel afterwards as well. And to look at that, let's take a look at the European model, and then we'll take a look at let's just take a look at the American model here real quick. And if you do have questions, go ahead and drop the line right here and let me know. Thank you very, very much for all of your questions, your comments, your support, you uploading photos on my website. By the way, it was a fantastic week on the website. A lot of you are using it, and I'd love to see your comments in here on how you're liking some of the new tools we're putting there for you for the wintry weather. Thank you very much. Ethan says snow won't end till around 10 p.m. in Fargo and Moorhead and Dilworth, and it doesn't look like that's going to be something. It could actually, because we'll be pretty cold, it could actually flurry a little bit even into the overnight hours. Jane, thank you very, very much. I appreciate your kind words. 50-mile-per-hour winds in the Dilworth area does not surprise me. We saw some beautiful, beautiful winds out there that got a little bit ridiculous out across the region. I'm going to unhide a comment because that's a good one. Okay. Sorry that your comment got automatically hid, Val. Selena, thank you very much. Not much of a question here. Okay, let's get to this holiday forecast and then we'll wrap up this broadcast. Let's take a look at the American model. I do want to point out two things about the American model as we load this puppy up here. Number one, it did a great job with this storm system leading up to it. There was some wavering back and forth, but the European model did the same thing. And as it comes right down to it, it may have done one of the better jobs with regards to these long-range models when we were looking out there. I'll show you some evidence of that if you're interested. Here's our storm system. Look at this, focusing on the lakes, and it just kind of wobbles around, and it brings heavy snow to parts of Wisconsin, the eastern reaches, Michigan, northern, right into Chicago, folks. And this is going to be a lake effect snow. Look at the winds we got. They're going to get there in the Windy City as this system swirls around. Now there's going to be an arm and a cold shot of air moving around the base of this low that sets the stage temperature wise in New York State. And that system is going to bring some significant snow to New York and Pennsylvania as that one just sits there and spins around for a while. Meanwhile, the bomb cyclone you're hearing about in the Pacific Northwest, which caused power outages out there today, over 500,000 people were without power in the state of Washington. We'll update that here momentarily. That bomb cyclone is sitting out there in the Pacific, and it's continuing to bring wave after wave of energy. More precipitation slams in as we go into Friday. Look at Northern California, rain and snow, just relentless amounts of rain out there. And models are projecting that there could be as many as 5 to 15 inches of liquid equivalent moisture hitting Northern California as we go through. Now it's Saturday. Here's the system. Saturday's weekend update. This low on this American model forms in Wyoming, and that track moves straight east and south and will bring a chance for some snow Saturday and again on Sunday in our area. The European model is very similar on this. So there could be some snowfall. There could be a few inches. We'll keep you posted on that. That system moves out. Then it's just darn right cold Tuesday and Wednesday, as you saw in my 7-day forecast. What about the holiday? Regional travel looks like this. If you are leaving, pardon me, please, or if you're leaving from here Wednesday, as we go in the morning, we're going to have some snow showers with this low. The American model has this low way down here in Texas, but we have what's called a trough of low pressure that extends all the way our way. That is why we're getting some snow with regards to this low pressure system. The European model has this track more to the north, which would lead me to believe we have a better chance for some accumulating snow in the central plains and maybe as high as far north as the northern plains and Minneapolis. That said, this model, the American model, brings really inclement weather as we go into Wednesday night. Peak travel time here. Again, Chicago, Indianapolis, Kansas City, St. Louis, right all the way out into northern Kentucky. And look at this. Very heavy snow hitting the nation's capital, the Virginias, winding through Pennsylvania again with that particular system. This is on Thanksgiving Day, folks. If there's a parade out there and this thing's going through, it's going to have some floats. It'll be a float, and I'm here to tell you. Now let's take a quick peek at that European model. So The bottom line is that regional and national travel likely to be impacted by another weather-making system as we go through. Whether it's this strong or not remains to be seen. Here's your weekend snow, and again, this little low moves out. That's the bomb cyclone. It moves out. It will not be a bomb here. Notice the northern track of this low on the European model. This means that the snow chances will be increased and maybe even enhanced as it moves across North Dakota. Now, this low that was up here kind of consolidates with the one down south, and then it moves out on the plains, leaving snow chances, although lighter, into Monday. That system moves off to the east coast, causing a little havoc there. Quiet and cold in our area as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday for travel days. Here comes the bomb cyclone as it moves through. Look at where this model, the European model, has this low. It is not down in Texas. It's in Colorado. That track of a low, if this is it, if it's more northern, would lead me to believe that the Central Plains, including South Dakota, North Dakota, maybe Nebraska, look at this, Minneapolis, St. Paul through Des Moines will have a shot at getting some heavy snow. So that could impact your travel if it takes you down into the Central Plains states. And again, that time frame is on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving Day, that puppy shoots off just like the other one. This is the day after Thanksgiving. It arrives in New York City. So there's a timing difference there between the two models. So that's what we're looking at there. Let me see if there's any other questions. If not, it looks like we've got you caught up with more than what we bargained with. Now, let me show you something. We showed you the snowfall potential, we showed you the snowfall reports that we've got so far. There may be a few more coming in, or because the wind, maybe we won't get any more. But if you have a measurement that you'd like to share, pass it along, or pass it along to the National Weather Service. I saved a couple of these model graphics for us here so we could go back and review at the end. I do that on my own personal thing as a meteorologist. I like to see which models did better, which models did worse. And I'll share this with you as I close. Number one, a few days ago, and we'll go ahead and look at this particular, I think I saved a lot more on the desktop. So these will be naked models here. Don't worry, that's not anything that you have to cover the kids' eyes for here, but this has none of my fancy banners or anything like that on it. Here's a look at the European snow, and let me put this on your screen for you. And this was the forecast, and it says the initialization time of this model was Friday. So when we spoke Friday, I said, we best start looking out. This was two systems, the weekend snow that was up in the northern part of the area, and then this storm system that hit today. Now, this is the European model. Not bad. We got more than nothing in Fargo. We got more than nothing in the Grand Forks area. But last Friday, here's the Canadian model. This one was way too far to the north on Friday. Here is the American model. This is consistent. This is what we saw. The mounts here, not bad. And this is really more on point with what, and this was Friday of last week. So the initialization time of this was Friday morning from this model. Really a good job by the American model. Let's hear it for the American model. Pedro, come on up here. Get on up. Come on. Come on. Yep. Say, he's really happy to note that the American model did pretty good this time. So let's put that in our hat and we'll leave it at that. I hope your shoveling went well. Pedro is having fun. He's taking no time outside. I mean, he goes out and gets business done, don't you? It's cold out there. He needs his mittens. Thanks, Pedro, for visiting. Thank you for watching. And again, check out Hutch's Weather for the latest on your forecast, and also the interactive radar, and now the interactive snow reports map. Check it out. And first thing in the morning, by the way, if you're looking for what's going on with regards to those roads, those are on there as well. Let me show you where as we go back to Hutch's Weather here on Hutch's page. You're going to see these maps up here, road conditions. I wonder what that is. Well, when you click on that, there's going to be links to all our roads. You know, a lot of places focus on just, say, North Dakota roads, and that's very, very important because we're in North Dakota. But we've got links to North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, Montana, and our neighbors in Manitoba. The Maple Leafs are covered here. Iowa, you're covered if you're traveling there. Nebraska, Wyoming, Colorado, Saskatchewan. That's fun to say 10 times fast. You can get the latest road reports before you head out in the morning right here on Hutch's Weather. With a click of the button, you are there. Thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you tomorrow. Please don't forget to tune in and, cheer on my weather kids, because Hutch's Weather kids, they learn a lot and they really are a joy. So thanks so much for having, spending some time with us. As you can take a look here, we still have travel alerts across the area in the purple, travel alerts in the northern part of the state, travel alerts on all of the eastern part of the state. The yellow means icy, snow-covered roads. The purple means snow-covered roads, rather, and down to the south, even into Bismarck, even though they only got about 2 inches of snow down there, the road conditions are at least a little on the challenging side. All right, that's a look at your weather. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Have a wonderful night. HutchesWeather.com anytime, no matter when you're there. Hopes to keep you up to date. I'd love your comments on the website. Keep them coming with your ideas as well. Have a wonderful night. Thank goodness that round is gone. Boy, we went from the 50s to wind chills to 0 and below. What's going on around here? Okay, national friends, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, I've got some bonus coverage for you here. Bonus coverage from Hutch on what's going on in the Pacific Northwest. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that a little more closely right here on my YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and take a look at my number one. A couple of friends of mine out there have forwarded me some photos from the Pacific Northwest in and around Washington State. So let's go right to that right now. The wind out there, completely ridiculous, and it's been very damaging. This photo was shared by Warren in Redmond, Washington. Not only that, power outages galore out there. So there is some significant weather that's gone on out in that part of the country, and it's going to continue. So we'll go in depth a little bit more. We're going to zoom in on your area in the Pacific Northwest to highlight what's going on with this particular system. But Warren, thank you so very much for sharing the photos of the damage. And these trees being hit with 50, 60 mile per hour winds, just landing right on a car, right on the house out there. And that is just unbelievable damage. And this one shows it as well, as that huge tree felled right in the property line right there. So now let's take a look at what's going on with the latest on the power outage reports across the area. Hutch's Weather has a link to that for you. The red state here, that is Washington State. There's some improvement here. It was over 500,000 people without power. Now it's down to 400,000 people without power as power crews are working effortlessly to, not effortlessly, there's a lot of effortlessly, but tirelessly, I should say, to get power turned back on. It looks like in California here, we have some significant power outages, about 20,000 people without power. So still a serious and significant issue. As we take a zoom in just a little bit, we can highlight more. Look at what's going on out to the east here as I highlight the East Coast too. In Virginia, the state of Virginia has 57,000 people without power there as there's some weather making its way through there. We'll take a look at that. We do have some outages as well in Pennsylvania and West Virginia, as well as North Carolina. So some power outage issues across the nation. Let's get to the look at the national picture right now. To do that, I want to load up my radar here, and I'm going to pop that baby up right now, and we'll go ahead and get that on your screen. We'll show you what's going on with this storm system out here. Northern Plains blizzard warning, that storm system exiting. It's wreaking havoc right now out in the West Coast. Here's why you're without power there. Thunderstorms aplenty through Maryland, making its way into New Jersey, and it does look like southern parts of Pennsylvania seeing some significant thunderstorm activity with this. This is the same storm system that brought the blizzard to North Dakota. This is expected to turn into snow and make it a heck of a snow day for portions near Chicago, Fort Wayne, Indianapolis, into Michigan, and then slide out into New York as we go through the remainder of the week. So unsettled weather taking place there for sure over the next few days. Now, as we sneak out just a little bit farther to the west coast, rather, look at this. Thunder and lightning with this storm system just off the coast right now. And the bomb cyclone you're hearing about, here's what a bomb cyclone is. A storm, a low pressure center that intensifies greatly and quickly. Overnight or in 24 hours, a bomb cyclone will see the pressure drop 20 millibars in 24 hours at this latitude. So that is what the definition of a bomb cyclone is. And I'm hearing reports out there that this storm system saw a pressure drop of about 50 millibars. An incredible storm system. Where is it? We're going to take a look at the imagery from the satellite. We're going to go to the, let's go to infrared satellite imagery. As you can see, the swirling mass of clouds and the center of the low pressure right out here. It's still well offshore right now. As we look on at it, it's likely close to 450 miles still offshore from the Seattle area. This is causing winds from the southern Pacific, slamming it into Northern California with copious amounts of rain there. Snow in the elevated terrain of places like Oregon State, as well as the Seattle area. So taking a look at the precipitation and the wind, let's go to the wind first. Here's the current wind gusts from the region as this storm system has really battered the area with gusts. Now, it looks like we have gusts between 15 and 30 miles per hour heading into the nighttime hours. But there are a couple of buoys out here. You see these little triangles that aren't far from the storm. And as I click on that buoy, I could see that's a 46 mile per hour gust there, 47 up by that buoy, and a little bit lower, 42 just off the coast there by Olympia. So things out there not good at all with regards to the wind speeds. Now let's take a look at the radar again, and we'll look at the forecast here of this storm system. This low is going to stay offshore until we get into the weekend, and then it moves off into Northern California. So it's going to stay off, and it will not move on to California as a bomb cyclone. It will be weakening somewhat, and then it will head out into the plains. But this storm system is going to impact the West Coast all the way through the early part of the weekend. Here's how. We'll go ahead and take a look at the American forecast model with this one. Here we go. So real quickly, we're going to focus in on the Pacific Northwest here and the West Coast. So allow me a moment here to recenter this map to a regional map that will carry us into the western U.S. Let's look at Idaho first, and then we'll go down to California because it's special in California. I'm telling you, this system is really going to bring a lot of moisture. Okay, you can see the rain and the snow in the elevated terrain. That's Northern California down in the bottom corner. Here is Oregon, and here's Washington State. I'll zoom this, bring this down just a little bit, but you can see the snow showers for round one here. As we go into your Thursday morning, we'll head into northern Idaho, western Montana, as well as northern Idaho, central and southern Idaho, rather, just areas north of Boise and the basin. Now, as we take a look at the progression of the next system, the next wave of energy really begins to slam with wind. See how close the isobars are together? Again, a very strong wind event taking place Thursday night into Friday morning. High country snow there in the Snoqualmie area all the way out into northern parts of Idaho, with more rain in parts of California. And then another wave of energy makes its way in as we go into Friday and Saturday, as this low finally works its way inland and then working its way out. So it looks very, very wet. And as we take a look at this area, and let's just look first at the snowfall potential with this system. This is potential. It's not a forecast. You'll have to look at the local National Weather Service office for the fine-tuned details on this. Look at the snow in Northern California, wave after wave continue to pile up. Look at the snow, northern Idaho, continue to pile up. Look at the snow, southern and central Idaho outside of Boise, continue to pile up. Folks, that's 1 to 2 feet of snow as we go between now and the weekend ahead. Now, we'll look at the precip amounts. We're talking about rainfall and snow. So if we melt the snow down, this is what we're looking at for total amounts of precip between now, right now, and as we go into the late weekend. Look at California. We'll look at Northern California. We're talking between 5 and 10 inches of liquid equivalent moisture in many areas here. And more rain continues all the way up the high country in Oregon State as well as Washington State, with elevated moisture amounts in Montana, 2 to 3 inches there. And winds aplenty as well. So that is a look at that storm system. Oop, that one not. Now let's take a look at the East Coast real quick, because there are some folks without power out there, and that storm system that made its way through North Dakota today and Manitoba is now going to be impacting the East Coast and the Great Lakes area. So you're looking at the what looks like that's the mitten of Michigan, Ohio, and this area seeing snow. Excuse me. This is rain. This is rain making its way in, and liquid equivalent moisture as we head into the weekend from this storm system will be 1 to 2 inches in many places of liquid equivalent moisture. Now I'll switch back to the snow for you so you can get a feel for that. And this is a look at snowfall in that area as we go through the next couple of days through Friday. Big time snow in parts of northern PA, southern parts of New York and upstate New York. We might even see some lake effect style snow beginning to give us enhanced amounts in in other locations, and then carrying into early next week. So some significant snow there. And now let's check out that Chicago area here as we look at the western reaches of the Great Lakes. And this is a storm system that left North Dakota and is heading into the Great Lakes. And here comes the snow. It looks like 1 to 3 inches of snow on this particular model in and around the Great Lakes area, with some very heavy amounts of rain and very strong winds as well. So some blustery weather on Thursday and into Friday morning for parts of, look at this, Chicago, central and northern, as well as eastern Illinois, right into central and northern parts of Indiana here, not far from Fort Wayne. Look at western parts of Michigan here getting slammed with some serious snow, as well as places like Green Bay and Milwaukee with that particular area. So that is a look at what's going on, and there are some concerns for travelers as we head into a look at the nation one more time now. One more time, we'll take a look at the U.S. national forecast as we head into the holiday. So a first early look at that. We're looking at snow, and as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, there's the low moving out of the Rockies and through the Central Plains with another shot of snow here. So this is in the time frame of Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and then Thanksgiving Day and beyond, snow moving into and along the Central Plains and into the Northeast United States. So there is going to be a weather-making system that works its way through there. Here's what it looks like on the future radar real quickly, and we'll start it out on Monday. Here it will come out of the Rockies. This is the bomb cyclone that slips out of the Pacific, and energy from that will work through on this particular model, which is the American model, more of the central and southern plains. Look at that as we go into Thanksgiving Day. That could make that Thanksgiving Day parade in New York City very interesting, to say the least, if that pans out. That's no guarantee. Here's the European model, same time frame. Monday, storm moves off the Pacific. Look at where the low goes now. It's more of a Colorado low as we look at this particular model. Here it is, Colorado, and then Central Plains and right back into upstate New York, but it's not there until Friday, which means maybe the parade is not going to be as impacted. A lot to be determined, but certainly both models show a robust storm system from the central or southern Rockies and into the plain states heading out to the East Coast as we get towards and closer to your Thanksgiving celebrations. Let me see if there's any questions on here on Hutch's weather and on my webpage here. All right, very good. Deborah, good to see you on board. Thank you very much, Lisa, for joining. Serenity, thank you very much. I hope you're having a great day out there. David, thank you for watching. And again, that is a look at your weather. I'm meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Remember, no matter where you are in the country, I want to hear from you. You can go to hutchesweather.com, and if you want to upload photos there of the weather in your area, I'd love to see what you got going on. A big thank you once again to my friend Warren in the Pacific Northwest for sharing some photos of some damage there. Warren reports that there was no one injured in that tree that fell on the house there. But thanks again for sharing your reports of weather across the nation. Thanks so very much. Have a wonderful night. Whew. It looks like an active stretch of weather in the upcoming week. I'll be here covering it all.